Yeah. When I was in New York, when I left New York, my partners were like, "You're crazy," because at that point we had 3 restaurants, a catering company, and a bakery that we ran together, and making $120,000 a year plus perked out and the whole thing. And I was like, "No, I'm going to move back to Cleveland." And when I moved back to Cleveland, I put out 50 resumes. I went on 25 cooking interviews, and nobody would hire me. Like, the thing is that I'm overqualified, and when you decide that you're not going to stay in Cleveland, you will have changed what we offer. And I was going more for pastry chef. I wasn't even, and I was like, I worked in construction for 9 months, like, to pay my rent. Then I really want to stay in Cleveland. And then I worked for Fire when we opened Fire, and that was a great experience, learning great professional people in the city. But when I originally opened Sweet Mosaic, which was my first local company, my boyfriend bought me a half-sheet pan convection oven, and I started the brunch business cooking on camping burners on a 2x4 table. And I built that, like, literally on Fridays we would spend 5 hours taking off. It was a storage closet when I moved in. I paid $100 a month rent, and I was nervous about that. But on Fridays I would take all the baking equipment out of there, and then I would build basically a line out of wood planks and completely illegal, and then my kitchen was camping burners using propane, no hood, residential cooking equipment, and it was really great because I could actually reach out and hand something in the dishwasher because the space was so small. But I built that business to the point where we were doing about 250 brunches every Saturday and Sunday, and then I was like, you know what? I couldn't get any serious cook to even think about coming and helping me because they would walk in and be like, "Is this the kitchen? This is where you cook the food?" And so then I went to a bank and, made the big leap and said, "We want actually an oven and a hood and maybe a walk-in," like really fancy stuff, so super fancy. So, and people say now, it's like we own Vine and Bean, and we've been working on a project for about 4 years, a third concept. And people ask me, it's like, "Are you nuts? Like, literally, you own 2 restaurants in this economy. What are you thinking?" And you do, actually, to be in the industry, have to be nuts, like certifiable. Oh, yeah. You have to love the crazy. You have to love people yelling at you, and then you say, "I'm going to make them happy, even though I can't stand them right now." And like, you go back and forth. You lose a little bit of your brain. But at the same time, one of the things I feel passionate about is the more restaurants you have, or the successful concepts that you have, you are supplying sustainable jobs for Clevelanders. And if you serve, you use local products, you are creating a venue for a farmer that isn't going to go by the wayside because you didn't know what you were doing. So the more people you're serving, you have more employees, you have more food. So yes, you have to be crazy, but thank God I'm crazy, I guess.
That's all right. I'm glad we're talking with a certifiable group.
Certifiable. Yeah, shocker there.
Matthew, again, getting back to finance, how did you finance your first operations?
It was money for me and my partner, and I had a pretty nice, cushy gig. My last gig, I was making way more money than I pay myself these days. But we took our money and went to the bank and begged and pleaded, and luckily, banks were giving out money like pedophiles and candy. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That's the way I feel about banks at the moment, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, any bankers that are here. Please come to my restaurant.
It'll work out.
No, they, after begging and pleading, we've got our initial seed money, and we just went from there and let the business keep building, and very quickly ran that loan down, and paid some payrolls out of our own pockets, and luckily we got enough traction that we started paying for ourselves, and just when we thought we were getting above water, we went ahead and expanded, and spent about what we spent on opening the restaurant on some new additions and stuff that just opened last week, and a wine retail shop inside my restaurant that I'm opening today that I'll go back to 150 cases of wine and figure out where they're going to go and be there all night probably
no
doing
pressure.
That. We're crazy. Like you said, you've got
restaurant. I was in there the other day. It's gorgeous. The patio is awesome.
You have to be
You guys
crazy.
did an awesome job on
It's
that. It's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank you.
Joe, let's go to the next slide because we got a few running late. So this last slide. I just got to ask everyone. One, what is your specialty flavor? And we all talk about our flavor, but also 2 things. So what's your specialty? And what was the best thing you've ever eaten? And it doesn't have to be in your restaurant.
Ooh.
And Michael, I want to start with you.
My personal specialty, even though I don't really make it at the restaurant, I love to cook Mexican food. and my wife's in the audience, and she knows that if I cook at home, it's probably tacos. All the time. That is my favorite food to eat, my favorite food to cook. I like the flavors, the freshness of it. By far my favorite food to eat and cook. Best thing I ever ate. Culinary school had a French chef named Andre Bernier, and he made a cassoulet that took him about 2 days. He made all the sausages by hand and cured the pork belly and wrapped it in pork skin and baked it in the oven, and it's probably the best thing I ever ate in my life.
Outstanding.
I want that. I want that.
Let's see.
Like
Specialty is, we started out at a tapas restaurant, and I'm not sure that Cleveland was exactly ready for an entire tapas restaurant, so we kind of altered what we do. I mean, we're local, we're fresh, we're simple food now. I mean, we have everything on our menu from $5 crispy fingerlings to a $30 ostrich. I mean, we do everything. We're local. We're local and we're sustainable. I mean, that's our specialty. I can't pinpoint down one thing. I'm going to cop out of this question. The best thing I ever ate, but the best meal I ever ate was at Alinea in Chicago. We went probably, I think the second week they were open, and had 30 courses. We're there for about 5.5 hours, and it was the best dining experience of my life. I mean, the flavors that came one after another were unreal. I still try to duplicate some of those dishes, and it fall flat on my
You
face.
figure out the floating mozzarella yet? That's the one that threw me off.
On the hibiscus tripod.
Yeah, man. Really? I'm poking it.
Jeremy and Chris, what you specialize in and your best dish of all time?
Comfort food, Asian flair. We bounce around generalized Asian food, not just like here's Chinese, this is what we do. Specifically Midwestern comfort food, probably, and a little bit of Southern influence. Favorite meal? I don't know, charcuterie, just a simple plate of charcuterie is good for me, and bread.
Peanut butter and jelly.
It's good to hear.
Everybody asks me, crunchy peanut butter and jelly.
I think comfort food as well. I mean, as far as I think that's the comfort food. Like people go crazy about mac and cheese. It's like it's basic, but it's really good. I think my favorite meal, my fiance is the chef over at Lolita, and I'm super spoiled. And for my birthday, we were in the Hocking Hills, and he did a soft cheddar polenta using local cornmeal, and braised short ribs with wilted spinach, and then he made an apple pie using a wine bottle as a rolling pin. And it was a meal that, he's made it for me since, obviously, but that moment I knew he wasn't going anywhere. Like you're mine, it's like game over, not looking, but he is the most amazing chef I've ever encountered in my years, and anything he makes, I say, my favorite restaurant in Cleveland is literally like my dining room table, but anything he makes is awesome.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
So do we have some time for a few questions? So let's, Georgia.
Particularly for the dim sum guys. In Cleveland, I think we're fortunate to have this fairly large Chinatown, and they have some, there's some great food to be had there, but it seems somewhat separate than what I think of as this emerging, wonderful Cleveland food scene. And I'm wondering what your impression of it is, how it fits into this conversation, and whether you take any influences from it.
We love the Asian market. All our business meetings are there. I mean, we go eat.
We eat dim sum at Lee Wah probably 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And we do get a lot of inspiration for flavor combinations and stuff like that. We try random things at the Asian market that we really don't know what they are to see what they taste like and how we can use them.
I can't understand anything that half those they say, but I mean, no, it's definitely, I've been to Asia like 7 or 8 times, and it's just it's my favorite culture. Absolutely everything about it. They do simple, but yet they're very, focused on making sure that they're ingredient based. They, all of their stuff. They got rice as their staple. They're all doing their own rice, and I just think, it blows my mind, the way that they do food, the precision and everything like that, and
Got a question?
Also for Chris and Jerry.